harm, behavior, and measures to prevent flies. In Vietnam, 172 species of flies have been identified in residential areas, of which 70 are close to home. Among them there are species adapted to a lifestyle near humans. Flies not only cause unpleasant trouble but also mediate many pathogens from polluted places for humans to cause diseases such as diarrhea, infection with worms, flukes. Flies reproduce very quickly and abundantly, so whenever an epidemic caused by flies occurs, the disease spreads quite quickly. The developmental life cycle of flies goes through 4 stages: egg, larva, pupa, adult. Flies lay eggs in landfills, feces, or wet organic matter in a state of decomposition. After 8 to 48 hours, the eggs hatch into larvae, also called probes. Larvae molt 2 times, over the age of 3 years, 1, 2, 3. The larvae stop eating and look for a place where the soil is porous to burrow down to develop into pupae. The fly nymph does not eat, is inactive. After a while the pupa hatches into adult flies and comes out of the ground. Adults will hatch after 3 days to 4 weeks. The ratio of males is 1 to 1. Males hatch 12 to 24 hours before females. Warm pupae hatch into flies 2 hours after drying the wings. The flies fly away. When the flies fly, they actively feed immediately, heading to the place where flour, sugar. Flies after hatching 2 days begin to mate, then 2 to 3 days of laying eggs, each time laying 100 to 150 eggs. When hungry flies cannot mate, and if the food lacks protein, the eggs usually do not develop. The food of flies is very diverse, including food and waste of humans and animals, especially waste products that carry infectious diseases such as phlegm, dander, vomit, feces, blood, necrosis. Organization. Flies eat, vomit, and excrete food, external and internally digestible, meaning that the saliva secreted has broken down part of the food before being sucked back into the mouth, and vomit/feces can contain many pathogens and, in addition, there are pathogens that attach to the body of the flies and are transported by them from one place to another. Therefore, flies are vectors of a number of diseases such as diarrhea, dysentery, typhoid, and helminthiasis, fungi. Flies are active only during the day, but are capable of flying as far as 2 to 10 kilometers. A day flies need to eat 2 to 3 times, but maybe more if they are not full. Flies with a lack of drinking water live only 48 hours. Flies forage during the day. In exceptional cases, hungry flies can feed all night when there are lights. When not feeding or at night, flies often park in places hidden from the wind such as floors, ceilings, walls, fences, clotheslines, wires, lawns, low bushes. To prevent flies, there are 2 groups of measures: group of preventive measures and group of eradication measures. In particular, the group of preventive measures is an active and proactive solution to root out fly foci and prevent their ability to spread pathogens. The core of preventive measures is to carry out sanitation and improve environmental hygiene conditions in order to achieve the following objectives: loss or restriction of the larval habitats of flies, breeding nests of flies, eliminate sources of contamination and prevent flies from coming into contact with food, objects, and the human self, namely, management of hygienic human feces in households. Each family must build and use hygienic latrines. Do not have indiscriminate bowel movements outside the environment. Depending on natural and economic conditions, households can choose one of the following types of latrines: septic latrines, flush-absorbent latrines, on-site composting double-compartment latrines, submerged latrines with vent pipes. For households using submerged dry houses with vent pipes, it is necessary to guide households to meet the minimum requirements. Closed stool storage pit, no open stool. Bowel holes must have a lid and always be tightly closed when not in use to prevent flies from coming into contact with human feces, and must have fillers, kitchen ash, powdered soil, to cover the manure after each bowel movement. In public places in residential areas, especially in schools, agency headquarters, units, and health facilities, ensure there are enough latrines and clean water for use and regularly monitor the sanitary status of sanitation facilities. In addition, special attention should be paid to hygiene awareness education in public places. Breeding and managing and treating livestock and poultry manure hygienically. Cattle and poultry must be kept in hygienic barns. Without freeing livestock and poultry, the barn needs its own planning. Far from the house and at the end of the wind direction, there are grooves for draining sewage, urine, barn wash. Note: the trench must be sealed and be led into the family sewage permeable pit. Every day, it is necessary to clean the barn clean and carry out hygienic manure treatment. Manure on the farm must be kept as dry as possible to limit dampness, which is one of the good conditions for flies to lay eggs. Apply a number of hygienic measures to treat livestock and poultry manure, such as composting properly techniques. Making the temperature in the compost block can reach 50 to 60 degrees Celsius and at the same time give 0-3 effects. Partially destroy pathogens, destroy fly larvae and improve fertilizer quality. Compost is applied in the shape of a levee on a building floor or compacted ground. The compost mass must be compacted, clapped and covered with waterproof sealed nylon or plastered with rice husk mud, rice husk ash, or covered with straw. If it is straw, it must reach a thickness of 15 to 20 centimeters to prevent eggs from hatching and maintain the heat of fermentation. Building a biogas system for manure treatment and as a source of raw materials for cooking. This measure is suitable for concentrated breeding places with large volumes of manure. In addition, it is necessary to perform well the cleaning and collection and treatment of waste and wastewater hygienically. For households, carry out housing sanitation, regularly clean the house, kitchen, yard, clean path. Do not spit meals on the floor or garden. Clearing bushes, leveling puddles of standing water. Solid waste in the house, garbage, leftovers, must be collected into a trash can with a tight lid and dumped daily. Depending on actual conditions, carry out hygienic waste treatment by one of the following measures. Dump garbage into the Urban Environment Company's trash can for centralized disposal. In rural areas, daily dump garbage into garbage pits. Bury or burn or compost for fertilizer. When burying garbage, it must be ensured that the waste is buried at least 20 centimeters deep, covered with soil and then compacted to limit the hatching of larvae and promote fermentation temperature. The point where the larvae cannot survive, for those substances that are at risk of containing pathogens, must be sealed and burned wherever possible. For sewage around houses, latrines, cattle sheds, wells, there must be a drainage trench leading to the sewage permeable pit and at the same time regularly level all puddles of standing water to thoroughly breed the fly. For villages and residential areas, weekly and monthly take a certain day to clean and clear village roads and alleys. Keep the water source area and the area around the water source clean. Construction and repair of roads, drainage ditches, leveling of depressions, puddles of standing water to avoid mud and eliminate breeding grounds of flies and mosquitoes. No roadside markets. Do not release animals such as dogs, pigs, buffaloes, cows out on the road. Take measures to prevent flies from contacting food and human items, such as using containers, preserving food, and shielding flies such as refrigerators, cabinets, food stalls. Using a fly net, mesh of about 1.18 millimeters, the automatic door combined with a rubber flat plate can prevent adult flies from entering the house. Measures to kill flies are always applied simultaneously with preventive measures, although it must be determined that they are only supportive measures. The simplest mechanical method that has circulated since ancient times around the world is to kill flies with fly blisters, which are easy to use, using means of trapping flies such as some folk remedies such as using plastic water containers, using water bottles applied with bile in the mouth are a means of killing flies that have been widely propagated, but the effectiveness is not high. Using glass traps, sticky levers and cage traps is simple, inexpensive, and effective means. Physical measures using lamp traps with appropriate light sources attract and kill flies with high potential. Biological measures. Using chemical methods, inorganic substances, powdered lime, classical organic matter, kerosene, diesel oil, organic phosphorus, malathion, dipterex, carbamates, propoxer, 7, pyrethroid synthetic drugs of herbal origin, permethrin, alethrin, tetramethrin. Larvae must be killed and adult flies must be killed with insecticidal chemicals through inhalation, contact, digestion, and can temporarily kill flies very quickly when there is dysentery, pink eye, when flies arise in large numbers, when epidemics occur, or when it is necessary to curb the number of fly populations arising from habitats that other measures have not overcome. Organization of chemical spraying carried out by the health sector. Using fly killer baits is the most popular means today. Toxic baits can be made in dry, water, or glue form, composed of chemicals to kill flies and attractants. Commonly used fly killer chemicals are organic phosphorus or carbamat. Poisonous baits can be placed on plates or poured into butter tubes hanging on walls, poles, fences, trunks. When using poisonous baits, always pay attention to the location of the baits so that they are safe for people and pets. Suspended baits made of ropes or fabrics impregnated with insecticidal chemicals and attractants forming horizontal and vertically stretched wires, suspended under the ceiling, roof with a vertical drop wire section 0.5-1 m long. This means is usually applied to livestock and poultry barns.
Thanks for watching. Please like and comment. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much.